This week, Destiny Pharma announced the appointment of a new CEO, and he has a very impressive track record. So in this video, I look at who the CEO is and why he would be attracted to Destiny Pharma. Chris Tovey is the name there, senior biotech executive and incoming CEO at Destiny Pharma. And he says on his LinkedIn page, really looking forward to joining the Destiny Pharma team in September the 1st, that is. And previously, Chris said on LinkedIn, after 10 wonderful years, last week was my last as an executive and chief operating officer at GW, that's GW Pharma, and Jazz. And further on, he says, I'm incredibly proud to be involved in a team building a world-leading and truly trailblazing British biotech company, GW, although it certainly wasn't always easy, with many repeatedly saying it wasn't possible. I must also say that I continue to be excited by the tremendous potential for innovative new medicines and for UK science and entrepreneurship in general to make a meaningful difference to the lives of people in both the UK and across the world. So, Jazz Pharmaceuticals, let's look at this. It is an $8.3 billion market capitalization. It has 3.6 billion in revenues, and that was 2021, and he was the chief operating officer of that. Okay, before that, he was a chief operating officer of GW Pharmaceuticals, and it was acquired by Jazz for 7.2 billion. That's a big company for AIM, you know, and he was there for 10 years. So it floated on AIM, GW, in 2001, IPO'd on the Nasdaq 2013, and was acquired by Jazz in 2021. Okay, this is the Investors Chronicle in October 2016. They chart how GW Pharma has made the most of AIM. And this is a Investors Chronicle tip hold at £18.17. So let's have a look at that chart. Okay, starting off here, 2001, 182 it IPO'd at. And you see it went up to £2, come back down, literally trading in a range or literally going downwards in a trend here. And it IPO'd Nasdaq 2013 May. Okay. So when did Chris Tovey join GW Pharma? 2nd of October, this was published, this article. It was actually the 1st of October he joined. Okay. And this is the chart. Listen, I'm not saying this is all Chris's work here. Of course, as a chairman, CEO, and he's chief operating officer, but you know, he joined here from IPO to the high. That's from there to there, a 276% rise. Chris Tovey's appointment from Nasdaq IPO, and you see what 7 months after he joined, they IPO'd on the Nasdaq, and from the Nasdaq IPO to the high was 1,006%. Before GW Pharmaceuticals, he was vice president and head of global marketing operations at UCB. That's a 16 billion euro market cap company and 5.7 billion in revenue in 2021. Before that, he was at GSK, director of commercial strategy distribution Europe, director of vaccine therapy, director of development UK, director of vaccines business UK, and business unit manager oncology. And that was from 1986 to 2005. And that's 57 billion market cap, 30 billions in revenue. So, you know, and in fact, looking at this is very interesting. This is recently, 9 months ago, the Healthcare Technology Report, the top 25 healthcare technology CEOs, chief operating officers of 2022. The companies represented on this year's list are some of the most successful and innovative in the healthcare technology industry. Chris is mentioned in those top 25. Okay. And they say there, as Chief Operating Officer of Jazz Pharmaceuticals, Chris Tovey is responsible for leading the company's global commercial activities. Tovey has dedicated his considerable experience in the leadership of pharmaceutical organizations to several major companies, and he's been well recognized there within the industry. So the question is, why would Chris be attracted to Destiny Pharma? Because they are a market cap, a micro cap of 28 million. Now he's worked at companies that are, you know, valued in the billions, not the millions. Okay. So this is the answer, I think. They have Destiny Pharma, a rich pipeline of de-risked assets, 2 products entering phase 3. That's 2, late stage. And that is NTCDM3 and XF73 nasal. Okay. There's also a pipeline here of others. Okay. So this is a description on the website. Company has 2 late-stage clinical programs and an earlier preclinical pipeline. XF73 nasal is being developed from our proprietary XF platform. So it's actually a platform. Okay, it's not just a one-trick pony here, it's a platform. And it's been prepared for phase 3 studies to prevent post-surgical staphylococcal infections, where peak sales could reach 1 billion. In fact, it's more than that now. In recent updates, it's closer to 2 billion. Destiny Pharma is also developing the world's most advanced single-strain live biotherapeutic product, which is a non-toxigenic cluster difficile strain of M3, deliver peak sales of over 1 billion. Again, that's been revised up. So the company's earlier stage pipeline is focused on other indications, including 2 separate dermal programs incorporating its XF platform. And they're also collaborating with SporeGen on a novel Sporkov innate immune system boosting nasal spray for the prevention of COVID-19 and influenza. This hasn't gone away. As you know, every year there's a new strain of influenza, and COVID hasn't gone away. There'll be new strains of that, and there'll be others as well. So based on just one asset, that's NTCDM3, okay, not the rest of it, not the rest of it, just this asset here, okay? And just a reminder of what this M3 is about. This here, okay, they've done a deal on this. The agreement could be worth the $570 million Destiny Pharma in a milestone. It includes an initial payment of 1 million, success-based development milestones of 19 million, sales revenue-based milestone payments of up to 550 million, and tiered double-digit royalties. This is with Sabala Pharmaceuticals. Okay, now just to summarize what this is about. Clostridium difficile infection. Okay, it's recurrence, profound healthcare impact in the US, or CDI. It's easy for me to say it that way. CDI recurrence risk escalates with each episode and is linked to increased morbidity and mortality. Okay, CDI has profound economic impact on both the healthcare system and patients. 500,000 cases a year in the US alone, and 29,000 deaths in the US. And it's cost $6 billion, the healthcare burden in the US. Now, if they get this, it's basically in the gut. When you have antibiotics, then you can get this infection. Okay, so the first infection basically costs about $40,000, and you spend 7.3 days in hospital. Now, if you get one infection, it recurs and escalates. So 25% of people will get this infection after the first occurrence. Okay, and it recurs, and then 45% and 64%. Each recurrence incurs about $50,000, and you spend about 9 days in hospital. And if you look at the cost of this, it's $187,000 per patient if you have this recurrence, 37 days in hospital. So this can be prevented, and it's effective in preventing toxic strains of C. difficile proliferating in the colon after antibiotic treatment. Can be used after any antibiotic treatment, once daily oral treatment for 7 days, low cost of goods, long shelf life, very important. Now, it's demonstrated game-changing recurrence rate of 5% versus 30% in placebo, and marketed and developed stage products have recurrence rates of 11 to 25%. So if you look at that, it's actually 5% only recurs when they treat you with M3, okay? In a placebo, 30% recurrence of this disease. And even commercial products out there on the market, they have double the recurrence rate, more than double, of 11 to 25%. So you can see it reduces the recurrence by 95%, which is huge. And I said they are preparing for global phase 3 study. Okay, planned 3 study. Their US partner fully fund through to commercialization. I said no further funding needed from Destiny Pharma because this deal with Sabala. But Destiny retains the majority share of EU and the rest of the world rights. So that's very important. So this is basically North America rights only. So huge potential, of course, in Europe and the rest of the world. Now, based on that asset alone, not the rest of them, okay, 3 separate brokers have share price targets of 279, 285, 290. Okay, so if you add all those together and give the average 285, current share price is 29.5 pence. That's close to a 10 bagger. Okay, 860% upside. This is where it's at. Now, if you look at this, IPO'd back in 2017 at around about 160 or 170. It rose up, rose down. And then there's talk of the deal on M3. Okay, and it rose and peaked out at, say, £2.50, not far off the actual target. But then the bear market started and everything gets oversold. That's where the opportunity lies. Once we come out of this bear market, and there's tentative signs of this happening with, inflation data getting not as bad, then this will re-rate, I believe. And like I said, current SP is up here, 861, sorry, current SP is down here at 29.6, and the target is up here, 861% up. But now they're even more advanced because they're looking for a partner on XF73, which has double the potential of M3, and they've raised funds recently. When they did this is a deal, they also raised funds at a discount. Okay, but nevertheless, it means they raised about 8 million from that, and they previously had just over 2 million. So they got around about 10 million in cash, and that will last them to beyond in H2 2024. So the runway is very long, and a deal will be struck on XF73 before that. But nevertheless, the mispricing here is ridiculous. Like I said, we could see the potential previously, and they were not as advanced as they are now, and that spiked up to sort of 250 a share. And these targets could more than double. All right, so talk about sort of 286, double that plus more. Okay, and I'll explain why. XF73, the next late-stage asset going into phase 3. They're looking for a partner on this, okay? Now, this is antimicrobial resistance. This is a huge problem. Happens when germs like bacteria and fungi develop the ability to defeat the drugs designed to kill them. Antimicrobial resistance is an urgent global public health threat, killing at least 1.27 million people worldwide and associated with nearly 5 million deaths in 2019. They could say, if left unchecked, this could rise to over 10 million deaths per year by 2050. As well as the enormous human costs, it is predicted that this level of mortality would result in a reduction of 2.2 to 3.5% in gross domestic product, costing the world up to $100 trillion. And so this is getting worse and worse. Sort of bacteria becoming increasingly resistant to antibiotics. Now, potential market size of $2 billion for XF73 nasal. This is market analysis on nasal undertaken by Destiny and its consultants between 2018 and 2022 showed significant potential worldwide market of $2 billion. Okay. Now, it demonstrated a 99.5% eradication of staphylococcal aureus in 24 hours in a phase 2B study. Okay, so this is real trials in real people, a phase 2B study. They're granted fast-track designation by the FDA and QIDP status with antihistamine market exclusive. So they've got exclusive market access here until late 2030s, and they own this outright, Destiny Pharma. Now let's compare this to what's out there at the moment. Okay, so this is the current standard care, standard treatment, repricing. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but pre-op dosing takes 5 days. The XF73 1 day. Okay. And this is the other sort of treatments here, single use. Efficacy, not all strains, okay? Toxic to human cells. So resistance buildup, yes. So there's resistance buildup in the standard care, not with XF73, okay? And you can see through, this is the only one that ticks every box. Tolerability, irritant, non-irritant, irritant. Indications off-label in the US, phase 3 right now, no clinical data claims for the others. So it's worth pointing out here, external European market research reports show that XF73 nasal gel is seen as a very promising alternative to standard of care, the current standard treatment, by both clinicians and payers. The study suggests that XF73 has the potential to replace the current standard of treatment as a preferred pre-surgical nasal decolonisation agent. Active partnering program initiated in early discussions with potential partners commenced already. So there's already people in the data room talking about this. And this is not including the earlier pipeline. So already XF73 has double the potential of M3. And M3 brokers on that alone are saying there's 860% upside on that one asset, not including XF73. And then we go the earlier pipeline as well. If you add that in, so Sporkov and the XF73 platform, okay? So let's go with this one first. Sporkov is a prophylactic approach, targets the innate immune system with the potential to develop COVID-19 protection within a few days of treatment. And it said Sporkov has already been shown by SporeGen, a company they're collaborating with, to provide complete 100% protection in preclinical models of influenza. It's different to vaccines in that it utilizes innate immune system with the aim of developing COVID-19 protection within a few days after dosing. Now, why this is different is when you get a different strain of influenza or COVID, then vaccines target that strain. This doesn't. It boosts the immune system of the human. So essentially, it can deal with all different strains. So you have to keep reformulating it because it deals with all strains. Additional attributes are that it can be stockpiled almost indefinitely without the need for cold chain refrigeration, and a very stable product. Unlike vaccines, they have a sell-by date, they have to be stored in certain conditions. It can be made available globally as a cost-effective measure in the fight against COVID-19, as well as a new COVID strains and other respiratory viral infections. So it's a bit of a game changer, can be used in conjunction with the vaccines or on its own. And the rest of this, of course, is the XF platform. And let's look at this. Let's look at the website. A novel XF platform targeted infections. The XF platform has a novel ultra-rapid mechanism that reduces the chance of bacteria becoming resistant to its action. Has advantages over traditional antibiotics. The key potential benefits are significant. Ultra-rapid bacteria kill. XF drugs killing bacteria in vitro, that's in test tubes, in less than 15 minutes, faster acting than standard antibiotics currently in use. Ability to kill bacteria in any growth phase. And this is an important feature because bacteria are not always actively growing. XF drugs are able to kill bacteria even when they're dormant. Ability to kill bacteria within staphylococcal bacterial biofilms. Biofilms are an increasing problem that are poorly treated by current drugs as they act as a protective barrier for bacteria. They are associated with indwelling medical devices, for example, heart valves, joint replacements, so bacteria can stay there for a long period of time. And invasive medical devices, for example, catheters and endoscopes, it kills them in these biofilms. Active against all gram-positive bacteria tested to date and selected gram-negative bacteria. So all these protects against. And this is good. No bacterial resistance is seen to emerge. None. So no bacterial resistance was seen to emerge in a landmark in vitro study of bacterial resistance that compared XF73 to standard antibiotics in current use. The bacteria MRSA did not demonstrate any resistance to XF73. So XF73 killed it after 55 repeat exposures. And this has been the longest repeat exposure study published as far as the company is aware. So that's very impressive there. And a second study using clinical bacteria samples from a clinical trial of XF73 provided the first clinical data supporting the same no resistance profile. So you see, that platform is not even in the broker notes valuations. So why would Chris be attracted to Destiny Pharma? I think the answer is in there, is in the products, the pipeline, and the benefits it can give to patients around the world. It is hugely innovative. And we're talking about a current market cap of 28 million. And based on one asset, the brokers are giving upside of close to 900%. And that's the tip of the iceberg, pretty much, as far as their pipeline is concerned. And Chris says, by the way, I'm delighted to be joining Destiny with an incredibly exciting opportunity to progress a highly innovative product pipeline, targeting the prevention of infections and representing powerful new offerings to the healthcare community that is seeking new approaches to treat and prevent infectious disease. Central will be XF73, which, following on from excellent phase 2b clinical data, and a positive endorsement from our scientific advisory board, is phase 3 ready for both US and European development. Now, look at your portfolio. If you have a biotech company in there, evaluate it up against this. Where is it in its development stage? How many assets does it have? Where are they? Because this has got 2 late stage going to phase 3 and a pipeline of others. The cash of 10 million and a hugely, experienced now CEO coming on board to develop this pipeline. This is a very exciting company. Please do your research. Destiny Pharma, ticker DEST.